Well, it's the weekend edition of the program, the morning brief right here on Channels Television. How are you hanging in with all the challenges of fuel scarcity? As a matter of fact, Bukola, my car is on reserve. But welcome. Good morning to the program. I'm Jeffrey Uzama.
Jeffrey, I'm sure you'll survive, as you always do on reserve. Good morning and welcome to the weekend edition of the Morning Brief. Of course, we're reaching you live from the nation's commercial capital here in Lagos. I am Bukola Koka. Of course, Kadi is not here today, but he'll be joining us, of course, by Monday. It's good to have you. Jeffrey, what's up?
Well, there's nothing else but the big question about fuel. So now it has moved from, it's a twin problem of fuel scarcity and the price of fuel. Yesterday, I had a conversation with our correspondent in Port Harcourt, Charles Oporo, on lunchtime, and we had to go live to the fuel station, and we could see that people were buying for as high as 1,200 naira per liter of fuel in the treasure base of the nation. It's just... Nigerians don't know what to make of the situation, and it's a very challenging period. The president, or the presidency, led by the president, but this time delegated to the vice president, had to summon that meeting of all the people involved in managing our Commonwealth called our oil resources. And they've come out to make some statement. I've looked at that statement. Well, we have some things to say about that. But there's fuel. By the weekend, it's going to literally maybe reduce or go away in terms of the queues at the filling station. But on the other hand, they are not very sure what the prices will look like. They are saying it will be high in some places, low in some places. What does all of that mean in English? That's what Nigerians want to hear. Because the level of shock, I'm worried for the country. I'm worried for the social impact of what is going on in our country, because how we move from less than 200 naira per liter of fuel barely over a year ago to now we're buying for as high as, say, 1,200. That's about, if my mathematics is right, maybe about 500% or 400% increase. For any developing economy, that level of shock without a buffer is the recipe for disaster. And if the authorities are thinking, they should think as quickly as possible to ensure that before you do comparative analytics of countries, that is where I always have a problem with the authorities. So, Bukola, what I realize is that sometimes, I don't know whether it's an African thing, it's convenient to do some comparative analytics. But if you're doing comparative analytics, look at all the elements. Look at what we call all the entities. So you don't pick, some people say, oh, we have the cheapest fuel or one of the cheapest fuel in the world. But the people that are buying expensive fuel, so maybe their rail system is working, their transport system is efficient, such that you may not really need your car. Their power is very efficient. They don't have issues of scarcity of power. You may just make some money, more money, to be able to afford power as regular as possible. They have portable drinking water. Their insurance is well put together. You don't just go and pick price of diesel or pick price of fuel and say, after all, these places, their prices are way higher than ours. But they have sufficient buffer that even if the government takes out 40% of their taxes, they may complain, but they know they are going home to good healthcare, good school, good education, good water system, good infrastructure.
Electricity supply
Electricity supply and all of that. So this cherry picking of things. And I'm even worried about this thing we call deregulation. Is this industry really deregulated, or we're just deregulated on paper? If NMPCL in the monopsony is the one importing final petroleum product and then give to the marketers to sell. And now if Dangote is coming upstream, you still buy as the off-taker and still give to them to sell. What exactly have we deregulated? Who are these market forces are we talking about? How many are they? There's so many questions to ask. If, say, a liter of fuel is refined for, say, between 60 to 80 cents, for instance, you do the landing cost, because they are now saying that it's only the NNPCL that can buy and accommodate that shortfall. But if the independent marketers buy, they may not be able to accommodate that shortfall. So we're going to pay subsidy again indirectly. Is that what you're saying? Or AKAs, you don't like the word subsidy, shortfall? There's a lot of question. The more I understand the industry, I think I have a clear understanding or some level of understanding of the NNPCL and how the oil industry works, because I've spoken with experts, I've read, and I understand a few things about the economy. But sometimes the more you understand, the more you're almost getting confused. It's disturbing.
Jeffrey, those are the questions that I expected the Minister of State for Petroleum to answer yesterday, and those questions were not answered at all. I wonder, as a result, if the summons by the Vice President on the orders of the President for a discussion of the situation is just for the optics, for good reason, because of the monopoly that Jeffrey talked about, also because of, the lack of transparency. I said this yesterday and I'm reiterating it, the reasons for the continuing shortage of supply in the last, not just 1 month now, but in the last 1 year or so. Nigeria has been in and out of this particular situation. It always starts from Abuja and then it trickles down all the way to the southwest, to Lagos. We continue to experience, scarcity of the product, and we're supposed to be, the major oil producing country. How did NNPC incur a debt of $6 billion, it brought us to this situation where it's unable to import? And then the monopoly also, it talked about the reasons for the short supply in the last 1 week. It's either attributed to bad weather or the inability of the vessels to load. And then the corruption in the system. It's been said time and again that the corporation, now limited, is the most opaque, entity in the country. How do we address all of that? These are the challenges, these are the questions that the Minister of State for Petroleum should be responding to, rather than, the assurance that the product will be available by the weekend. Of course, we can also talk about, the impending exit from the import regime as a result of the commencement of production by Dangote refinery. But why will the other marketers not be allowed to access the product from Dangote? Why the continuing monopoly by the NNPCL? These are the real issues. And if that will even force the price down in the short term, what about the assurance from the corporation that the Dangote refinery will continue to get crude oil supply from the NNPCL? Don't forget that some of our crude oil has already, been paid for ahead of time as a result of the loan subscribed to by the NNPCL. These are the real issues. If that were the case, what are the assurances that Dangote refinery will continue to get crude oil supply from the NNPCL? And if it does not, it will have to sell, petrol according to the realities of its own production. So these are the real issues that we should be, that the Minister of State for Petroleum should be addressing. And we should also demand answers from the President, who by extension is the Minister of Petroleum. Jeffrey.
Well, the truth is that, I don't know whether you call it a challenge. The truth is that things are very tough, that even people from the presidency appear to be hiding from conversations. So if they say I'm wrong, come, let's have a chat. If you're not, being evasive, or everybody's trying to save their head, the optics are really bad. But let's tell you what we're doing. Now that the Vice President has summoned the managers of the oil sector, what will change? Will the prices come down? Will the products be available at the end of the day as they promise? Well, we'll find out today as part of our conversation, but we'll hear from the opposition Labour Party on possible alternative policy ideas, because they'll be here, not forgetting the party's internal squabbles, which has taken a twist with the inauguration of a new leadership. So it's a twin conversation with the Labour people.
And we indeed would like to hear what alternative policies that they'll be proposing to the situation. But it's a weekend edition, so beyond the hard talk, we'll also be looking at the softer side of things, as music artist Laolu Gbejo joins us on the show today to tell us about his stirring journey from humble beginnings to gospel music stardom, from the depths of passion to the heights of purpose. Laolu will open up to us today about his unwavering faith, unrelenting drive, and the unifying power of music. Plus, witness the magic as he brings in the talking drum to us in an exclusive performance.
Well, don't forget, tomorrow is going to be a big day for us. Yes, the boys are all in camp. The Super Eagles of Nigeria is on the hunt for the AFCON qualification as Nigeria takes on Benin Republic in the 2025 qualifiers. It was always going to be a tough one, but with the recent flip-flop with the appointment of German coach Bruno Labbadia, what strategy does Guavon, who is still sitting in, have up his sleeve? We'll join the pre-match strategy and talk about this with the experts. So the boys are in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. I was so excited to see Victor Osimhen finally in camp.
Jeffrey, tone down your excitement. Just tone it down.
I have to look for something to be happy for. And if I was in camp with them, and if I was there and I'll tell them, guys, look, things are bad in our country. Give us some joy. But don't forget, social media, on X, that's how you can reach us as well. On WhatsApp, okay? Reach us as well. That's the number. Messages and videos only. Bukola is back, so you can send those private messages on a public platform. And
oh, Jeffrey, don't start.
But that's how you can reach us. Whatever it is you're complaining about, that's how you can reach us. But don't forget, just after a few moments, we'll take our top stories. When we come back, we'll start the very conversation for today. Join us again. Up on the brief this morning, in spite of the lingering fuel scarcity, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Laolu, says there's availability of petrol despite the scarcity and hike in the price of petrol product. He was briefing journalists at the Presidential Villa Abuja after meeting with Vice President Kashim Shettima. The Vice President has summoned the Minister of Petroleum Resources for States, Senator Laolu, the Group Managing Director of the NNPCL, Mele Kyari. Also summoned to the Presidential Villa is the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribado, over the recent hike in the price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. Let's now bring you the situation report from states where in Asaba, the state capital, the Delta state capital, the product sells between 950 to 1,100 naira, with motorists and other residents lamenting the untold hardship this has caused. In Owerri, the Imo State capital, where a liter of petrol sells for as much as 1,100, residents are asking the federal government to reduce the pump price of fuel, which has increased the cost of living and transportation. Meanwhile, commuters in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, had a harrowing experience as motorcycle and tricycle riders took to the streets. They protested soaring fuel prices in the city. Elsewhere, residents of Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, expressed their anger and frustration over the high cost of fuel in the metropolis, which they said has made life quite unbearable. But those are the tales across the country. Port Harcourt, for instance, also 1,200. What are you buying? We'd like to know. Let's move on now to tell you that the President, Bola Tinubu, has called on global leaders to embrace multilateralism and reject protectionism as essential steps towards achieving lasting peace, security, and stability. President Tinubu made this call while addressing a high-level meeting on peace and security at the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing, China, in his capacity as the chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government. As contained in a statement by Special Advisor, Mr. Laolu, the President noted that the challenges facing today's world, ranging from food insecurity to armed conflict, only can be addressed through partnership founded on mutual respect, fairness, and inclusiveness. Independent corrupt practices and other related offenses, ICPC has questioned the former Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, over a word of contracts and jobs racketeering at the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. The spokesperson of the commission, Mr. Demola Bakare, confirmed that Dr. Ngige was at the commission's headquarters to provide details of an ongoing investigation. However, he did not give details of the allegation, though he added that the minister may be invited again until the investigation is concluded. Let's bring you more stories. 3 children have been confirmed dead, while 1 girl is still trapped under the rubble after a building collapsed in the Sabongari area of Kano State, northwestern Nigeria. However, both parents of the children have been rescued following the combined efforts of officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, the Red Cross, and the Nigerian Police Force. The building collapse is believed to be caused by a presumed landslide due to heavy rainfall in that area. Let's also tell you that at least 5 persons were seriously wounded and 3 others abducted after bandits in their numbers armed with sophisticated guns, including AK-47 rifles, attacked Magama Jibia border in Jibia local government area of Katsina State. A member of Jibia Security Committee told Channels Television on Thursday via telephone call that the bandits overpowered the security personnel who were deployed to repel them. He said the hoodlums invaded the area on Wednesday night at about 11:45 p.m., shooting sporadically to scare the residents, most of whom were preparing to go to bed that particular night. Let's head back south. The Edo State Ministry of Health has declared an outbreak of cholera and mpox. The declaration was made by Ojefo Stevenson, the State Director of Health, at a chat with journalists at the Palm House in Benin City. He says, even though there's outbreak of cholera and mpox, he asked the people not to panic, as the Ministry of Health has actively put measures in place to control the situation. We can also tell you that the federal government has approved a 50% increase in the feeding allowances for inmates in Nigeria's custodial centers, with effect from August 2024 as part of measures aimed at improving the welfare of inmates. The PRO of the Nigeria Correctional Services, Abubakar Umar, announced this at a joint news conference organized by the spokespersons of security, military, and paramilitary agencies. Let's now talk some politics. Elder statesman Pa Edwin Clark is asking the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Gbejo, to arrest the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, over his recent statement during the People's Democratic Party Congress that held in Port Harcourt, where he threatened to cause political crisis in any state that interferes in the politics of Rivers State. He made the call at a news conference in Abuja. The Jaw leader says the words of the minister marked a flagrant disregard and disrespect for the president, who appointed him, describing his comments as uncontrolled and capable of inciting violence in the country. Asked the Inspector General of Police to compel Mr. Wike to withdraw his statement. Okay, let's bring you more stories in business. Nigeria business recorded their first expansion for the first time in 13 consecutive months. And this is according to the August Purchasing Managers Index. That's what is called the PMI report released by the CBN. Key highlights of the CBN report shows that the composite PMI for the month stood at 50.2 points, indicating an expansion in economic activities in contrast to 49.7 points recorded and reported for July. Sectoral breakdown shows that the services sector also recorded expansion for the 3rd consecutive month at 50.7, while the agricultural sector registered expansion for the first time, also at 50.7. On international scene, the father of a 14-year-old boy accused of killing 4 people at a high school in the U.S. state of Georgia has been arrested. 54-year-old Colin Gray is facing charges of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children, said the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The authorities have charged his son, Colin Gray, with 4 counts of murder and said they plan to prosecute him as an adult. And on to that exciting world of sports, Cristiano Ronaldo became the first player to score 900, those numbers, top-level career goals as Portugal kicked off their National League campaign with victory over Croatia. The 39-year-old volleyed in from the edge of a 6-yard box in the 34th minute, so double Portugal's lead. From Nuno Mendes deep across, it was a record-extending 131st goal for Portugal, coming 20 years after his first. The veteran sang his knees in an emotional celebration. Manchester United fullback Diogo Dalot had put Portugal ahead early, but later turned the ball into his own net as Croatia responded before the break. Well, is there any record that Cristiano Ronaldo hasn't broken? I don't know, but congratulations to him. But those are the stories we've been tracking for you in about 24 hours, and it will shape part of our conversation for the show and the rest of the day. Bukola joins me now to tell us what you have been talking about on our social media of choice. X, Bukola.
Jeffrey, speaking of breaking records, Nigeria may have broken the record as the country with the most number of increases in the pump price of petroleum products. And, that forms the crux of most of the conversations online from about yesterday. Some of the things that you're talking about, is the economy, the pump price of petrol, tricycle operators complaining about the pump price, an over 50% increase in transportation costs as a result of the most recent increase in the pump price of petrol. And let's start with a reaction to the reforms of the current administration coming from American business magnate Bill Gates. Of course, that started yesterday and it's continuing today. This time, what you're reacting to is the fact that he says that President Bola Tinubu's reforms are difficult but necessary. And the first talking point is from Decking Sports, who says, but he's doing it in the wrong time with wrong strategy. Jeffrey.
Well, we have said a lot, so nothing said to that. Z2HTV says it needs to start materializing before the masses evaporate from the earth.
Well, when will that be? That's the question. I Am OJ says they are not difficult if the corruption was not there, but they're reforming on the surface and looting on the inside. It can't work. Even the reform safe now audio.
Timmy Dot says everybody wants a better Nigeria on a platter of gold. Nigeria is not ready.
And that's about it for that. And the next one is about transportation costs going up by 50%, which seems moderate concerning, the current prices. It may be higher than that. I mean, the margin of increase in the transportation costs. Carlo is the first person reacting this morning, and he says it has increased by more than 50%. Cost of goods and products will follow. Then foodstuff will become too difficult for the ordinary Nigerian to buy. Then pressures will mount on parents and breadwinners. As schools resume, parents will be more afraid and worries become high. BP. Yeah, I believe that's what he's trying to say. Try and stay safe and strong. Don't let all this take your life.
The anger of people is just the fact that government is not showing goodwill in terms of their own, austerity measure to show that as we're suffering, they too are ready to suffer with us. Until they do that, this sounds like a joke. Olamide says, we all know that once the fuel price goes up, everything else will follow. And the worst part is when the prices increases, there's no going back. Salary earners, how on take they survive?
And Dami Grade says 50% increment is really killing, but as usual, Nigerians will adapt and adjust.
Okay, listen, James says it's way more than 50%. Beggar from my area is now 1,000 naira from 300 to 400 naira, I guess, prior to this time.
And I wonder where the area is. How many meters really on the expressway does this person travel? It could just be minimal, and they're paying more than 500% more than the old price that they paid before this current increase. And there are no guarantees of a reduction in the pump price, even no guarantees on the exit from this situation, this current scarcity. That's if nothing happens this weekend, going by the words of the Minister of State for Petroleum. Of course, we'll get to that. But this next one is from Onye Ijem, who says, see me trekking to my office. Everything, especially transportation, is now higher than ever.
Okay, Shiloh Bliss says, Nigerians, that this is the best time to call for government accountability reforms to public servants, and as well as, I guess that's what you wanted to say, as politicians using public transport, health, educational services, let them feel what the public feels. It's time to stop this expensive lifestyle these guys enjoy. And those are the things we're talking about. I've seen a president who chose to live in his house. I've seen a president who chose to drive in an old vehicle. But in Nigeria, it's a different kettle of fish. Our president has a new jet. We're happy for him. But the optics are bad, especially at this time. The FCT used 21 billion, or the government used 21 billion to build a residence of a vice president. That thing that economists calls emotionally unintelligent expenditure at this time. And there are so many things we could look at that the government, on one hand, is saying bear for now. On the other hand, they look reckless in their expenditure. And when people are talking, you feel they are being critical and all of that. No, it's our commonwealth. Security and welfare of the citizens is your primary, focal, major responsibility. And the fear some of us have is the fact that we've been made promises, or people have promised us better life. Because they say Nigeria has been living a false life. We defend the naira, we subsidize fuel, and all of the things they say, we can't continue like that anymore. And that is costing NNPCL to really stand out, because they are now using their monies to foot the bill. There's a wage bill of 6 point something billion they are struggling under, and all of that. At the end of the day, it looks like, was this really well thought through? They knew it's going to be difficult, but did they know it's going to be this difficult? A twin policy of FX and subsidy. So the Nigerians need answers. That's the truth. Nigerians,
perhaps what is most painful for Nigerians is the fact that you keep telling Nigerians to tighten their belt, make sacrifices in the interim until we see the results of the reforms. But we're not saying quite the same from the government officials.
We understand that. I don't know who this credit to, but brace up for more fuel scarcity. NNPCL official tell Nigerians. I don't know where this come from, but that seems to be. But let's to counter this again. Mr. Lekpobri, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, oil, has said is going to taper down, but he's not sure about the pricing. And there's a word they use that I'm not happy or comfortable with. Nigerians are worried. They say it will stabilize, it will moderate.
He says the price will find its level when the product becomes available. And perhaps where this may be coming from, Jeffrey, is the report from yesterday that there are some vessels that have actually berthed of petroleum products at the sea, but the NNPC is not allowing those vessels to be offloaded. Such reports will inevitably get out if the NNPC continues this approach of not communicating adequately to Nigerians the real reasons for this continuous scarcity that we find ourselves in. So,
Professor Imo says, why is Governor of the National Assembly suddenly gone deaf when there is a palpable tension due to further hike in prices of petrol? And he listed all the things that are attendant consequence of what is going on, and there's a continuous collapse of our national grid. Bukola, you have the next one. Let's see how we can run this through.
Speaking of National Assembly, of course, some members spoke against the increase yesterday, but the question is, how far will their opposition, or how far with their criticism of the situation go? Not so far, because it doesn't change the price of petroleum products. It doesn't move the needle at all for Nigerians. AfroConnect says, Omo, we will not brace up anything. We will hit the ground running with Legady's Benz. The Legady's Benz is resorting to walking, by the way, if you were wondering.
There's a lot. So we would like to state that the NNPC has not commenced lifting of petrol product from our refinery. This is coming from Dangote Refinery. We're going to the next one, guys. So Eberichuku Michael says, this game they are playing with Nigerian citizens is what I don't understand. Because I have the next one from Jagaban of Lagos.
That's from the Jagaban of Jos, who says, I thought he said nationwide delivery will commence about 2 days ago.
But he has said that depends on the
conversation with the government. And that has not quite happened yet.
Tunde Ajerele says, what about other marketers? Why is it exclusively NNPCL? So it's called bilateral monopoly. And you will have to explain that.
This one is from Ni Lekon, who says, don't know why major marketers are excluded from lifting fuel. That's exactly the question. From DR, that's Dangote Refinery. Is NNPCL the sole off-taker of diesel too? Something is just not right. So NNPC, these are the questions that Nigerians want you to answer.
Well, the explanation, and some experts are saying the reason is because if you look at the landing cost, by the time you process diesel or fuel FPMS for a certain price, the landing cost or the when you finish everything, it should be about landing cost doesn't necessarily mean importation. Everything that is accompanied in terms of charges and everything, plus that landing cost, should be like 1,002. There's only an NPCL that can sell for less of the cost they buy it.
No, but we're talking about purchasing from Dangote, who is producing at home now.
That's what we're saying.
There's no importation element.
Dangote still is an international business. It's an international business. So when you do the mathematics, it will land at 1,002. If an NPCL buys,
even from a domestic manufacturer.
Yeah, that's what they are saying. That's what the experts are saying. But
I wonder if that makes sense to you, Jeffrey. But it definitely doesn't make sense. There
are like 4 types of cost that comes into it. It's an international product. I'm not giving I'm just explaining what they're explaining. That's if we're supporting what they're doing. So there's a lot to say. But where we have issues with all of this is at the end of the day, when the Honorable Minister for Petroleum says it will find its level, it will moderate. Dollar is now moderating at 1,516 from 400 to 700.
Yeah.
Is petrol going to moderate at 1,012? Nigerians won't take it. Well, that's the conversation. We're going to be asking the guys from the Labour Party before we get into the issues around their party, the party politics. Let's get started with the very first conversation for the day, and it's a 2-part conversation, but we'll start with the issue of national importance, and then we'll get to party politics. We're being joined in the program by Dr. Eunice Tanko. He's the interim coordinator of the Obedient Movement. He joins us via Zoom. Dr. Tanko, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
How have you been faring with the fuel hike and the fuel scarcity and all the things that are around it? So let's begin with how you've been faring, and then we'll get to what you will have to say about what is going on in the country.
Well, it has made it so difficult now for Nigerians to move from point A to point B. It has also grounded most of the businesses that people run, even ones that happen in the neighborhood. And what it has just added to it is added pain and pang to the Nigerian people. And then the most interesting part of it is that it's just like saying that I'm putting my hands in your eyes and you cannot do nothing about it. I mean, Nigerians just came out of this particular NSAS protest, saying that requesting or demanding that the fuel prices as at that some couple of days ago should be brought down. But the government now in its own thinking now thought, okay, let me punish these people for even going onto the street to protest against this government. So to me, that is what it looks like. Because for any government who cares about the feeling of its people, it must have listened to the yearning and crying of the people and say, okay, look what, let us find a way of reducing this particular pain and pang and then move the country forward. But ordinarily, what was done was that to say, okay, I am ready to put more pain to you and I dare you to do anything about it. That's just as simple as it is. Because if not, why would you, out of a crisis, instead of you managing the crisis, and you are now adding to the fueling the problem? And the most painful part of it again is that most of these young men who have been so-called arrested have been charged for a treasonable offense, where some of the people who have crippled this country economical-wise have not been arrested, nor are they being charged for treasonable offenses. And that for me is the height of it all, because it shows that the poor people, that justice or rule of law is only applicable to Nigerians or the poor Nigerians on the street, but those who have stolen the cost of the country to a point of stupor get padded in the back and then being manipulated judicial-wise to escape even punishable offenses. So if you treat your countrymen who are supposed to be the beneficiary of your government in such a way, I wonder if really you are governing the people. So there is this particular young man who is an entrepreneur on my street. He used to have his shop very well packed. He was able to live in that direction. He was a graduate BSc holder, and then he managed a small chaos like that. And then the people benefit from some of the ways he buy things. But today, that particular business has been granted, and so many others like that. So if you want to grow an economy, it is the entrepreneur, the small-scale entrepreneur that really help in building a society. But in this case now, we are crippling them, and then we are encouraging those who have stolen the country to a point of stupor.
All right, Dr. Tanko, before we get to the issues in your party, one more thing on this particular issue. We're looking for solution everywhere, because at the end of the day, Bola Tinubu may be our president, but this is our country. If your party is proposing an alternative to what is going on now, what will it be? In maybe 2 minutes before we get to your party issues.
Well, first of all, you need to be transparent to the people. The people need to know ABC, how it becomes another D. Or you must give a calculation and that to how and when, what really led to this particular situation. You have to have the confidence of the people. But as it is now, the people have lost a lot of confidence in this particular government for not even being transparent. Then if they have been transparent, many people will have brought in so much good ideas that can help in mitigating the solution to the problem. But for we have already stated that right from the beginning, what we will have done was say that we are building modular refineries that can cater and take care of this particular production of oil for Nigerian use. But it seems they deliberately make it in a way that you cannot have those modular refineries or any source of having alternative to fuel supply, rather than the monopoly that is already established. So we have to kill that particular monopoly and make the people have the use of the petroleum product that can help them in growing the economy.
Well, let's go to your party issues now, Dr. Tanko. And it appears as if the party is moving on now with that convening of a NEC meeting by the governor of Abia State, which saw, the attendance by a good number of party elders. But the opposition is saying that there is no basis, no constitutional basis for that meeting, because even INEC has not issued an official communication to the party that the Congress that it held was illegal. Perhaps I could just quote some of the things that the opposition is saying as regards that meeting. It says, "We challenge Alex Oti to produce the official letter addressed to him from INEC on the subject matter. There is no vacuum in the leadership of the party. Consequently, the so-called caretaker committee set up by the governor is not known to the constitution of the party." So the main crux of their grounds with that NEC meeting is that it is unconstitutional. When you consider Labour Party laws, even the Electoral Act that they're also quoting as well. So what's your reaction to this?
Well, I just want to appeal to everybody. Remember, I had an interview on this particular platform when I said that His Excellency Peter Obi is trying very hard to ensure that he mediates in this particular matter. And part of the mediation process, which he did, was to engage members of the National Assembly elected, members of the Senate. He also engaged members of the Labour Congress, as it were, and then he met with the party leadership also. Like in his own words all the time, that we need everybody. And so the final arbiter, based on the processes that was already enshrined, even in the Constitution, recognized quite a number of people, including the existing governor of the Labour Party in the person of His Excellency Dr. Alex Oti, and members who are statutory members in the constitution of the party, including the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC, and then some other persons who are statutorily recognized by the constitution. But that is not the catch. The catch is that everybody that's already assuming to be in position of power or wanting to be in position of power were invited by the most high-ranking member recognized by the constitution of the party. So, including Chairman Abure, for them to be at the meeting. The target is that His Excellency wants to find out how best we can approach this matter after having consultation with everybody. And I think the most civil way of solving such issue is for us to look at ourselves face to face and say, look, these are the problems, and this is what the position of the law is. And from the information reaching out from the Independent Electoral Commission, who provide a guide as regard to what can be used, what use can be made in order to solve the problem. Don't forget, there is an alternative dispute resolution department in INEC who resolves such issues if it does occur. So I think everybody was carried along in trying to find solution to the problem. The result was what you saw at Umar here as we came. So I don't know, the Independent Electoral Commission has the right to look at if the processes were followed according to the provisions of the Constitution and provision of the alternative dispute resolution, and say, okay, fine, we now recognize what you have done. At least the most important thing is that the solution was found within ourselves. It was not outside the political party. And those are part of the internal mechanism that help in mitigating the issues that arise.
Now, ahead of that meeting, there were reports that the party requested that all litigations against the party be withdrawn. But we find that, according to reports, key members of the National Working Committee were absent from the party. Now, if they go ahead again after this effort, to seek a solution to the internal crisis, if they go ahead to challenge this in court, saying that this meeting has no basis in line with the constitution of the Labour Party, then the peace effort may hold no water at the end of the day and the litigations will continue. Is the party worried about that?
Well, politics is dynamic, and I can assure you that there are interest groups both inside the political party and outside. And then people will always be finding ways of finding solution to the problem. Of course, we are also aware there are those who will also want to sponsor problematic areas in just to cause chaos within the party. And that is the reason why majority of the stakeholders were at that particular meeting. At least that I can say authoritatively, we have almost 95% of the people that were supposed to be decision takers, and they were at such meeting. So invariably, it simply means that the majority has spoken on behalf of the party. But let me make this clear. None of us is going to be left behind. Nobody, whether in the Abure-led leadership and members of the National Working Committee and those who are already aspiring the NLC, the TUC, everybody, as His Excellency usually says, they are very important to us. Very, very important. We will find a way of mediating the solution and solving the problems internally. But at least we've gotten a headway, or there's a kind of a leadway in finding solutions to the problem, rather than us keeping quiet. Because look at it, we have an election coming up in Edo State. We have local government elections already ongoing in some places and all. We have rescheduled Federal House of Representatives election in Kaduna and some other states. So we are losing by the minute. And anybody who believes in the Labour Party, who is the darling of Nigerian people at the moment now, will try as much as possible to come down from his high horse and say, look, hey, what am I even gaining from all of this? Let us really find a solution to the problem. So the idea of dropping all litigation is fantastic. You don't need it. You don't need any litigation against the party at the moment now. If there are issues that you have, we have capable hands that can really look at this validity of such cases and find solutions to them. And then in the event that INEC make its pronouncement as regard to whatever has happened, it will help to reduce the pressure on the leadership as the case may be. So we are very, very hopeful, and we believe that such legal issues and any other issue can be resolved within the party's apparatus.
All right, Dr. Zanko, I can almost predict that there will be issues because they say what you did in Umuahia is illegal and unconstitutional. And I took my time to look at your constitution and how to, because it looks like you removed the chairman of the party. Although Alex Oti, the governor, said we didn't remove anybody. We just want to look for a way forward. But looking for a way forward has to be by the books and by the law. If you look at his Article 18 of your constitution that talks about how the chairman can be removed, he said it has to be at a national convention convened solely by him, which looks like even a defective framing of the law itself, because if you want to remove somebody and he has to be the convener of that national convention, there's also an issue. But there's also a special convention. So how does Labour Party want to get out of this quagmire? Because like you're putting more crisis on the table. If these guys go to court, they are likely to get the case against you. And if you go to the INEC portal, it's still Julius Abure, who is the chairman of the party. What happened that the deadlock went on that it now had to be this special extended stakeholders that is strange to your law? If there's a NEC to be convened, NEC has to be, the chairman has to be in that NEC. So we can poke through and see the holes in all of this. How do you want to navigate out of this? Because it has to always refer to the law.
Let me quickly say this. The Constitution is very clear on the processes. And if the Constitution has already spoken as regard to who become who, don't forget, there is issue of a 10-year extension that already been established by INEC themselves, not by the other members, but by INEC themselves. Even in their action, they've already. You may say that such document was not communicated. I want to believe that INEC, they are not stupid. They know exactly what they are doing because, as I know the INEC chairman for a very long time, is somebody that is a stickler for position of law and agreeing on position that you or whoever must have taken in writing. And I said there was a document in the dispute resolution department that is already an agreement already that has been breached. And that particular agreement may be the catalyst to the solution of the problem. So if we are to go by that, there are those particular issues that can give right, a legitimate right to whatever decision that was taken in Umuahia. But then we do not want to go through that particular route. What we are interested in is amicably settling this matter within ourselves. So I'm saying that even though some people may want to go to court, our leaders who are in the position of leadership of the party will still reach out, and they are still reaching out to individuals to take care of these particular differences that we have. And then I also know for sure that INEC will make their own pronouncement, knowing fully well the challenges that the party is facing, and it being an independent arbiter that can really look at the interests of the party. So we are not oblivious of the fact that the Constitution say ABCD. We are following the Constitution too. And then we want to make sure that apart from following the Constitution, there's another alternative way of dealing with the problem. And that position and processes is what we are following.
Mr. Tanko, I'd like you to clarify something because some members of the faction led by the Abia State governor are saying that INEC has said that there is no leadership of the Labour Party, and as a result, this is the reason elders are rallying, to hold that Umuahia convention, Umuahia meeting rather, such that a solution can be found. But on the INEC website, Julius Abure is still recognized as the leader of the party. So what is the implication of that meeting convened? Does it mean that Julius Abure has been sacked as Labour Party chairman?
What I would rather say is that I know for sure that INEC cannot place something on nothing. There must be a process that they agree with. And so if they agree with the new position, they will make the necessary changes as it were. Okay? And then the fact still remains that nobody is trying to use the word remove. Nobody wants to, kind of discourage or dehumanize anybody in such a way that after we have led a fantastic leadership. What we want is for every one of us to understand that we are working together. People are genuinely aggrieved about certain issues. But those particular issues too, we are politicians. In politics, you don't fight each other to a point of as if you want to kill each other for nothing. Because today you may not be together, tomorrow you may be together. But it depends on how you show your magnanimity in terms of disagreeing and agreeing. And once you have that particular agreement, you will find out that, okay, in the future, we will end up working together. So I am foreseeing the simple fact that tomorrow will be better. If we have different opinion at the moment now, when we are still talking to each other, there will be solution.
Dr. Tanko, pardon me. One of the outcomes of that meeting was that the caretaker committee has been given 90 days to resolve the crisis, and that will result in the conduct of congresses and a new election that will see new executives elected, right? So are you playing safe by towing this line of not stating whether or not Julius Abure has been sacked as national chairman?
Because I'm being a party chairman. I know what it feels like to be in saddle of leadership. I know what it feels like for your leadership to be challenged. I know what it feels like when you don't have general acceptance. And I know what it feels like when you feel that you have already nurtured something to a particular point, and then you all of a sudden you have a lot of challenges and all. So these are normal in political line. But what is appreciable and making somebody a hero in a political setting, it is when you yourself go the level of, acceptability, or more or less like being calm. Just like I always give Abure a pat on the back. I always say that during the time in which the third force was looking for a house to accommodate our dreams, it was the ability of Abure to calm down, even though there was challenges in the past, for him to calm down and say, look, I'm ready to give room for all of this. Let's negotiate and all. And that's what made him a hero. And if he followed that particular line, he will be a double hero today. And doesn't mean that probably today you find yourself probably not being accepted by the people. If you follow a line of showing objectivity and concern for the collective interest, it may give you a more pleasurable and more better opportunity in the future. We've seen people that have exemplified such. Right. Former President Goodluck Jonathan is one of them. I have been a chairman, and I am no more a national chairman of the political party. I have not lost anything. In fact, today and yesterday, before yesterday, when I was nominated as the national chairman or the interim national coordinator of the obedient movement worldwide.
All right, Dr. Tanko, we're totally out of time. Thank you so much there's a lot to ask you as far as the laws and the way forward is concerned, but we must thank you, Dr. Eunice Tanko, interim coordinator of Obedient Movement. I wanted to even find out whether the Obedient have accepted you as well, but we don't have time for all of that. Thank you for coming on the program, sir.
Well, thank you very much. I can authoritatively tell you that yes, we've gotten acceptance and we're moving forward as a team. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're still on the issue of the Labour Party. This time, we're going to talk to the other faction as far as this contentious issue of the caretaker committee versus the National Working Committee is concerned. Join us again.
Despite making a strong showing in the 2023 presidential election, the Labour Party has been perpetually in the throes of internal crisis over the past 1 year. What will it take to steady the ship of the Labour Party? We're continuing that conversation, and this time around, we have joining us Mr. Abayomi Arabambi, one of the officials of the Labour Party, the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party. Mr. Arabambi, it's good to have you yet again on the program. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning for having me.
I see that you're armed with the Constitution of the Labour Party this morning, and you're set to interpret it, particularly to those who convened the Umuahia meeting. So go ahead. I'm just going to give you the floor to put things straight before we, follow up with other concerns.
Well, thank you very much. For the Umuahia meeting, I am a little bit disturbed because in Nigeria, I think the economic situation of Nigeria has made some politicians to reach their menopause in politics. And I think that is just the essence of that convergence. They were trying to see whether they would still be productive. But, alas, what they did, in Umuahia is just not other than judicial rascality and executive rascality, where they try to impugn, on the law and constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, whatever you don't have power to do, don't even dare to go there at all, because our party constitution is very clear about our party organization. And I want them to know, including although the senior advocate of Nigeria there, that shall in the Supreme Court connotation means something that is compulsory. Article 11 of our party organization says there shall be 4 levels of the party organization, namely the ward local government, the state and national. Then Article 14 of our party, power and function of national officers. National chairman shall give leadership to the party and shall preside over all meetings of the National Convention, National Executive Committee, and National Committee of the party. Now, in the 11 that I read, we don't have anything like stakeholder as part of our organization structure in the Constitution. And if you've been following, judicial pronouncement in the Supreme Court said parties must obey their constitution first, even before you now go and obey the Constitution of Nigeria. It is certainly clear here that the only person that can call and preside over any meeting of the Labour Party for the National Convention, Executive Council, and National Committee of the party is the national chairman, and the Constitution says shall. So there is no ambiguity here. There is nothing, that is convincing anybody here. And the National Secretary in Article 14(4)(b) shall cause notice of meeting of the National Convention, National Executive Council, and National Committee in consultation and approval of the national chairman, not with Governor Lesoti and Peter Obi. Now, I need to expose the NSC at this juncture. Governor Mimiko might be watching this program. There was a time he demanded the inclusion of National Assembly member in our NEC in Ondo.
You mean Governor Mimiko?
Yes, then
former
when he was
Governor
the governor.
Mimiko.
Yes, what they told him then, I was there, was that they hijacked the party, and that it is better you will leave it at only governors, deputy, president, and deputy. They were the one. All of them, they were the one there. Adwai Duba was the president of NSC then. All of them were there. But today, they said they are calling next meeting, and Governor Lesoti is calling on Mr. Peter Obi as what? We don't have governor presidential candidate as member of our NEC convention. Only when you are elected on the platform of the party. So for them to have called senator, House of Rep, they are just wasting their time, because this constitution will be upheld by the law. We will go and test it in the court of law and want to see whether they are now a constitution or they are now law on their own, or we will have to obey this constitution. Then I want Nigerians also to know something. In the case of, because I heard him talking about INEC, you see, INEC, as far as we are concerned, is a creation of the law. Edose Njoku, the current chairman of INEC failed to monitor his convention. Rather, they supported Sylvester Ezekenwa because of, Governor Obiano's support for the man then. But what happened? The man went to court and got a judgment in Supreme Court. But do you know what INEC is doing now in the motion for self-execution order filed by the present governor in favor of Sylvester. INEC was the one in their preliminary objection. They said section 85 of the Electoral Act. That's why I brought it here. So that nobody will think I'm reading what I do not know. I mean, section 82 of the Electoral Act. INEC said they agree every registered political party shall give commission at least 21-day notice of any convention, congress, and conferences and meetings. But they did not monitor Ezenjoku own. But the Supreme Court gave their judgment on 5. They said failure of a political party to notify the commission as stated in subsection 1 shall render the convention, congresses, and conferences meeting invalid. Once you have informed INEC, it is their business to come or not to come. They only said failure of a political party. Once a political party has passed section 5 of the, subsection 5 of 82 of the Electoral Act, you are on your own. So they are now telling us, which I don't believe. They said Professor Mahmoud asked them to convey NEC meeting. He won't do that, except it will be a contempt. No. Professor Mahmoud should know it is just the INEC chairman. By the creation of INEC, you have no power under the constitution to say, oh, Governor Lesotho, only the elected. Where is that stated in the Constitution of Nigeria? Where is that stated in the Electoral Act? Except Professor Mahmoud has now become an arm of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, which we are going to test in court. So we have gone to court now. Right. We are before Justice Egwatu. No problem. INEC should come and now give us the citation in the Constitution where he has the power to determine, what he said they should do, but we are not sure.
So let's take it one step at a time. You said they said INEC is in agreement with them.
Yes, they said.
Have you spoken to INEC about this?
INEC
it's a straight question.
Yes.
Have you spoken? Have you heard from INEC?
They denied.
Okay.
They denied having it because we demanded for the letter. They denied.
I've looked through your constitution. Yes. I took my time to look through section 13, section 14, section 18, many sections that has to do with all of this controversy. And I can see where the chairman comes in literally in everywhere. In fact, part of the framing of that, especially when it has to do with the removal of the chairman, for a layman is almost defective. If somebody has to be removed and he has to be the one to convene the convention that will be removed, will he even convene that convention? So we'll look at that area at another time. So my question to you will be, is it that efforts have been made to resolve issue with the Abure-led NWC? And it's not compromising, it's not bulging, because I know you were against Abure. I've interviewed you a couple of times, vehemently against Abure, and now you're on Abure's side. Even your position as National Publicity Secretary is contentious. I've gone to your website, Labour Party. The release saying that convention or that stakeholders meeting is illegal and unconstitutional is signed by Obi Orefo, National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, and you are claiming National Publicity Secretary. It looks like the NWC itself doesn't have its acts together. Is that what is going on?
No, that is not what is going on.
Okay, so what are you? What is it for? Let's begin from there.
Now, the point remains, the precipitator of the crisis are those, people that gathered in Abia. I heard them talking also about a NEC.
Those who gathered in Abia are the precipitators of this crisis.
Yes,
that's what you're saying.
Yes. Now, when Abure was restrained, they said the constitution is very clear. There is only national convention called by him, that Peter Obi and Governor Lesotho. They were the one that highest advocate of Nigeria for him. They failed at the lower court. But at the Court of Appeal upheld our constitution. We now present to Supreme Court. Let me tell you, we are seeing Supreme Court against Abure. But we will not, down to the tune of Governor Lesotho and Mr. Peter Obi, for them to claim that this constitution must be strictly adhered to. Now that Court of Appeal has said, gentlemen, we are upholding this your constitution, please, you can go to the higher court. Probably that can be set aside. That is why Abure, Apapa, we don't have a choice than to obey. But they, ab initio, fail to obey the FCT High Court judgment. Both the NLC, I'm not talking about TUC now, Governor Lesotho and Mr. Peter Obi. Are you getting me? All of them, they were violently opposed to that. But now that the Court of Appeal, our worry now is this. When you fail to obey a law that was against you, and now you have a law that is in your favor, you say you are still going to disobey it, there is something.
See, help the public out here. What I'm asking you is a straight question. It looks like the party is in disarray at every level. I'm asking you, you're the publicity secretary.
Yes.
Ifo is the publicity secretary, or claiming to be. He signed on this document. Whether that is a moral ground for which they say you don't even act the act together. Yesterday, I interviewed Callistus Okafor, who is also claiming to be the acting national chairman of the party. That whatever you and Abure are doing, even the one in Omaya, is null and void because Abure was just acting secretary and he was the national vice chairman of the party South or so. So when the other man died, he's supposed to take over. So there's a gamut of issues going on here.
Now the point.
So help us break it down.
Now,
do you understand my question?
Like I said, during the pendency of the restraining order, Mr. Peter Obi proceeded with Abure to Asaba. This was when they were making all manner of unconstitutional pronouncements. But immediately after the Court of Appeal vacated that order, there has not been any neck meeting, that is against us. Meaning all of us, that were separated by that issue of restraining order, we came together, and I think up to today, Julius Abure or Farouk has not issued any public statement against my person. Lawfully, we know ourselves, but the people they appointed in Asaba know themselves. But we are on the side of the law. Just like I said, I am not, on the side of Abure, but I am on the side of the law. Because when court said, go and do this, we don't have any choice other than for us to follow it. Now, they are talking about tenure expiration. Abure's tenure has not expired. The 2018 agreement Callisto Ofako is talking about, Abure was not a party to it. He was the national secretary. But what most of them feeding the public with lies is that Abure became national chairman in 2021 in Edo. We had our NEC, and our constitution is exactly clear that NEC has the power to fill in vacancy that ever existed in NWC. There was a vacant position for national chairman. There was a vacant position for national secretary there. I was Ogun State chairman, in my 8 years tenure then. Then that was when we elected Abure in 2021. So Abure tenure ordinarily will expire in February 2025. But do not forget, there was a restraining order for 1 year, which Ababa, elsewhere. We will see minus that, but where Governor Lesoti and Mr. Peter Obi and even, the chairman of NCP, who said he was the national chairman, though he never contested election, because I know we are very good. He had never contested election for 13 years. NCP never run election in this country for 13 years. They were just there. But they are now claiming Abure tenure has expired. This, we are very happy about that because we are going to test it in the court of law,
But Mr. Arabambi, isn't that the confusion that the Umaya meeting is trying to address? I mean, the last time you were here, you told us that you had reconciled with Mr. Abure, which came as a surprise. But today you're still saying that you are not particularly on the side of Abure, that you're on the side of the law, and that you are in fact still against Abure in the court of law on a particular case. And, prior to the convening of this meeting, one of the issues that the leaders talked about was that all litigations should be withdrawn. So isn't the issues that they're trying to address, don't they trump all of these litigations and the legalese that you're quoting, such that the ship of the Labour Party will steady?
They are not qualified to even be a sailor in our party or on any ship. Because ab initio, they are all contemnor. When I say I'm on the side of the law, Abure tenure was affirmed by the Court of Appeal. But when that tenure was impeached by the court, these same people that gather, they say no, for reason being known to them, and until there will be peace Labour Party, until when two people will come out to Nigeria and tell us, Governor Alesoti and Mr. Pitobi, they will tell Nigerians why they rejected that FCTI court order. We know why. But we don't want to discuss that now. They must come out and tell Nigerians and tender apology. We know why they did it. And we know why they are against Julius Abure also now. And why we are now telling them that we will not follow you. Because, we are not just morons that you now put a remote control and be moving us around like a robot. Now, do you know why we are in Supreme Court? Because we are challenging the decision of the Court of Appeal that set aside that restraining order. So that they now want to ambush that matter in the Supreme Court. They want to ambush it, and we are not going to allow it. This was what they did in case of this, I mean, Edison Njoku of ABGA. But we teach them that we know the rudiment of the Nigerian constitution and our constitution. They can never come and take it for granted.
Well,
now,
go ahead.
The woman they even pick, they were the same problem we have with Dr. Doyon before, the EFCC saga. For this to be known to them, that madam was the director of finance of Jonathan administration. Everybody knew what happened. There is no credibility in that woman as far as we are concerned, because when you have such a matter on your neck in the court, they were supposed to have allowed that matter to be, disputed, to be litigated upon until before they will now go and make the appointment. Along the line, Peter Obi appointed also as our finance director during the presidential campaign of 2023. Do you know up to today, the woman they claim as impeccable character, we do not have audited account of the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council. I am telling Nigerians, the money Peter Obi posted is a lie. I've been saying it. People donated.
You mean the account presented on the spendings of the Labour Party?
Yes.
The spendings.
You frown on it. You frown on it.
The woman they presented was the finance director of finance of Mr. Peter Obi during the 2023 general election. Up to today, can Mr. Obi come out clean?
So two questions. I'll ask you two questions in one. Do you have evidence to the contrary as to what they presented?
No, that is not our audited account are posted. All of us know. We are not, baboon.
You are saying you don't agree. No. They posted what they posted.
No, they didn't post anything. He only said,
they listed,
I gave lawyer.
They listed.
That is not an account. No, if that is audited account, Labour Party should pull out of presidential election.
Hold on. Yeah. They listed, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You have a contrary listing?
No, audited.
Mr. Ramambi, when I ask the direct question, please answer. They listed, they did some listing which you don't agree with, not audited. Do you have contrary listing?
No, we are asking for the audited account. You see, let me tell you, when you come to equity, you have to come with a clean hand. And this is why you see some of them accusing us, they are pro Tinubu, they are pro Atiku. No. Whosoever you want to castigate, learn how to at least be better off that person. If you are saying NNPC has been, economical with the truth about, the amount of crude oil they are producing, then we should show Nigeria that we can do better. Are you getting me? So I said, our audited account, do not forget, we have a Fiele saga in Nigeria then. So every money passes through account. But what we are saying is this, if we want to govern...
This breakdown that you frown on, does it have anything to do with the court order that you say that Mr. Peter Obi and the others have been selective in obeying?
No, I am only telling you, part of the infraction that we claim that we are saint Labour Party, whereas we are not, because these people now, they are just grabbers. I am telling you, like them now, in our presidential election, I will challenge you to point to one bicycle he gave Labour Party. It is not. But today, they thought, we have the power, we have the senator, we have a governor, let us grab. They are only preparing grab for PDP. All of them, even the talented.
So is there this argument, are you suspecting this argument that was put to by Callistus, that this is a precursor to a merger? Is that what you're speculating?
He has even been moving around to merge until when the PDP public secretary said they do not give the power to Atiku, that a candidate cannot negotiate merger on behalf of the party. He has also been doing it until when we told him point blank. But what they are now trying to do is that let us converge all our people. Darlington failed in PD primary, he ran to Labour Party. Governor Sanusi did the same. He too ran, he didn't partake in the primary. He ran 3 days to our own primary to meet us in Asaba. All of them, they now felt, let us come together. Let us find a way to decimate Labour Party so that at least we will have a ground to now go and negotiate with PDP, because I am telling Nigeria, Obi is not contesting under Labour Party in 2027.
But Mr. Arabambi, some people would also level similar accusations against you that during the 2023 presidential election, you worked against the Labour Party by aligning with another political party.
No, we did not.
But that apart, it may seem
I voted for Peter Obi. No, it's a wasted vote. I voted for him in the president. I didn't vote for Tinubu. I voted for Peter Obi. But for the governorship, we don't have a governorship candidate. That I'm going to tell everybody. We don't have, because, for this event to INEC, they didn't allow us to have.
Well, the presidential elections have still come and gone, and the governorship elections. But Mr. Peter Obi at that meeting said categorically that we're not disqualifying anyone.
So what are they trying to do?
That everyone can still come and contest after this peace meeting. So doesn't it show that indeed there are some good intentions involved in the meeting such that there can be peace?
They don't have such power.
In the party.
They don't have such power. So what they are trying to do, I told you, they are just, bunch of democracy assassins. They don't have that power, what they are doing. And I will give you an example.
That is huge, Mr. Arabambi. Democratic assassins is a huge
people
word.
That want to kill democracy. When you want to kill democracy, you are a democratic assassin, not human being now. Now, in Zamfara, Governor Yari versus Senator Marafa, this was the kind of game they played until after election that brought in Matawale. Nigeria should not forget, Matawale was not the one that won that election. Until one court now set aside the governor and deputy, all the three senators, their rep and assembly, and gave it to Matawale because they said, Ab initio, all their voters wasted. Their plan now is to push out to go to court so that Labour Party will be desperate because at the end of the day, everybody that price these people, anybody that did any business with them will not get elected to any office. It will be voided in the court of law.
We really do hope.
Remain the national chairman of the party until otherwise settled by the court, not by Governor Nazarity and Mr. Peter B.
All right, we really do hope that all of this discordant tunes will find a way to become harmonized and such that there will be peace in the Labour Party. We must thank you very much for your time and your thoughts on the program, Mr. Abayomi Arabambi, one of the national publicity secretaries of the Labour Party. Well, they leave us no choice but to designate you. So thank you so much for your time on the program.
You're welcome.
And we'll take a break now. When we return, we'll bring you another leg of the conversation. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Let's now go away from politics. Let's talk sports. Tomorrow, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be up against Benin Republic in that very important qualifiers encounter. That's why we're being joined in the program by former chairman, Gombe State Football Association, and former chairman, Gombe United FC, Mr. Shoaib Gara Gombe. Joining us from Abuja studio, Mr. Gombe, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, and thank you for having me once again.
I will start with perhaps a tough one, because there's a lot of pain in the country. Should we be hopeful?
No.
And why?
We shouldn't. Because we plan for it. We ask for it. And it has always been like this. We have been so notorious in failing to plan. And when the failure comes, then we start to look for excuses, like what happens in the Olympics recently. And I can tell you, another embarrassment is staring us on the face. You can see how we deliberately mismanaged the appointment of being a coach. 2 weeks to a very important qualifiers, we don't have a coach. And now we are bringing a caretaker coach. Players are coming in from different directions. We don't know the pattern we are going to play. We don't know who is playing, who is not. We are thinking about psychologically, thinking about Benin Republic. We are thinking also about happening to other big football nations in the continent like ours, like Ghana. Ghana lost at home just yesterday, and we do not know what is going to happen. I have never seen this kind of situation where a day or a few days to qualify, Nigerians don't even know what is going to happen. We don't even know the direction. And we have turned to prayer warriors as usual. So it is really unfortunate. It's embarrassing. Our football, our sports in an autopilot. We do not know who is in charge. We do not know what is happening. And it's unfortunate. This is really a tragedy of a nation who once, at some point in time, 1985, won the first maiden edition of FIFA Under-17 World Cup. And by 35, 36, 37 years after, we are struggling to qualify for World Cup. It's unfortunate.
Well, Mr. Gombe, regardless, this didn't chance upon us. We knew that AFCON was coming up, and therefore we still have issues of late arrival of players to camp. There's also the concern of indiscipline. And are we supposed to expect, as a result of these issues, a comprehensive play of the team during this weekend qualifiers?
At any point in time, I can say in the last 2-3 years, when you see, or even beyond, when you see the Super Eagles doing anything good in the field of play or any competition, it's not because of our coaching. It's not because we have a program. No, it is the individual brilliance and capacity and ability of the players being professionals to put what they know on the field of play, and we get some results that are good, some results that are embarrassing. So therefore, I can tell you that when you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That principle is what I can best describe our situation now. So if you see anything good out of tomorrow's match, I can tell you it's not because we have planned anything. I mean, I pity Austin Ibabon. I met him at the airport a few days ago in Lagos when he was on his way to Uyo. And I asked him this question, by chance meeting. I asked him, why is it that you are always being handed over a dead horse and they want them to wake it up? Or they always want you to come and clean the vomit, which we deliberately cause to ourselves? He said, yes, because he's an employer. He's been an employee, of the Nigerian football. So anytime he is called upon, he do it, because now when the results are bad, his records is being dented. Every time we mess up everything and we call him to come and take over. And that is just the situation that we have. Now, we have listened to excuses that the botched appointment of the German coach was because of taxation, German tax laws. That is rubbish. Excuse my language. That is rubbish. This is not the first time we have employed a German. It's not the first time that we have employed foreign coaches. So why is the tax issue now? After all the waiting, the horse trading, the back and forth, the basic truth, which it will come out very soon, is about corruption. I read in one of the papers, very credible paper, I think the Nation newspaper reported some of these things. And I can tell you, the last coach we had, Joseph Acero, the agent that introduced him to Nigeria, who brought him to Nigeria, is a Nigerian. He lives there in Port Harcourt. He said Acero failed to pay him the agreed amount of commission he is supposed to pay him as an agent. And when he confronted Acero told him that he cannot pay twice, that someone in the Federation of Nigerian Football is collecting $20,000 from his salary every month. How can he now come again and pay another agency? I'm on TV, the person is alive and is there. So it is just basically about corruption. Perhaps, allegedly, the same German coach now that refused to coach us 4 days after his appointment. He refused, he said he's not going to coach Nigeria. Perhaps it's because of the same scenario where someone may have asked to share his salary with him and he failed. And this is not the first time. There are antecedents in the past where coaches have been asked to share salaries with officials, and some who are also corrupt like us accept it, some don't accept it, and they leave. And this is the same situation that happened with this level.
Yeah,
yes.
The truth is that there's a lot. People have always called out the administrators of football and our sports in general. You can go from football to other events. Look at what happened at the Olympics with medal-less situation coming back, and we're still waiting for someone to be fired or heads to roll or someone to voluntarily fall on their sword. But nothing of such has happened. Nothing of such has happened because in this climate, it appears that people don't take responsibility. But we have a match on our hands in less than 24 hours or so, or about that, or more than 24 hours from now. The Super Eagles will be on that field at the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium with the fate of Nigerians in their hands. Despite the disarray, they want to get something out. So if you were to be in a Guavon situation, and I feel for Guavon to be very fair, I also felt for Finidi George because it was like the similar situation. What exactly will you be telling these boys? What can they do differently? Because it looks like it's no longer going to be a coach issue. It's going to be the boys motivating themselves.
Yes, like I said, people who could not, everything about football, our sport is wrong. And it's about leadership from the top. You just mentioned Olympics. There is no government that I know in all my years in sports in Nigeria, within the space of 2 years, that I released the kind of money the present government under President Tinubu has released. Almost 24 billion in 2 years. Within 2 years, 24 billion, more than that. And nobody is asking anybody to account for that. Now, that aside, that's why I say it's about leadership. Now, from infrastructure to management to governance to anything you can think about in our sports is wrong. Now, if you look at it, before even the management, the issue of this foreign coach, they couldn't manage even the appointment of Amokachi as an assistant. They went to announce Amokachi as assistant to Finidi without consulting him, without agreeing on the terms. Amokachi pulled out. The same thing with Finidi. They appointed him, and after, he has to also pull out. So if people cannot manage our own Nigerians' employment, how do we expect them to successfully appoint a foreigner? Besides, now, what I can tell the players, if I really in charge, or rather, if I can see them today, what I can tell them, like you ask, is, look, you are first Nigerians before any other thing. Please put together, display your individual abilities as professionals, take your nation first, bring out your heart, and do your best for Nigeria. But not because anything is put together for an organized system where you can put a team. Those days, I and you knew that you can sit down today and give a list of 11 players that can start to play for Nigeria, and you can be sure of victory. But this just is no. You don't even know. Apart from the few, Osimehim and the rest of it, I saw some pictures. I think you are running there. I saw someone like Oni. I don't know for how long have they invited Aoni to play. I have been reading on the social media which pattern Ibavon is going to use. Does he even know the players? This is technical director of the team, but he's not in charge. Those who are in charge are different, and these are undertakers, agents, conniving with officials. Almost everyone there is an agent who wants to bring his own player to play. So it's unfortunate. I think Ibavon, as a matured former player and a coach, he will know what to tell them. But for me, I will tell them to be patriotic, to put Nigeria first and do their best as professionals, but not because there is any organizational system that can produce results.
I must thank you so much because at the end of the day, all of these things that are being said is quite a challenge for all of us, because it's our country, it's our team, it's the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and we're very hopeful that by whatever magic or whatever fluke, I don't know what to say, we'll get out of this. But you made some strong allegations, and I hope that the authorities, the administrators themselves, will come out to defend themselves. Well, thank you so much, former Gombe FC chairman.
Let them come out. I'm here for them. Let them come out. These things are very clear. They are very audible to the deaf and also visible to the blind. What is going on in our sports, in our football? You did mention that up to now nobody wants to resign. Nobody is being fired. Where does that happen? It's about leadership. The sports minister, he has to be called to order. He has not been doing his best. He is giving us a very bad leadership. He has brought down sports to our knees. He has brought down everything to his knees. Okay. Our football is at the zero level. It's at the base, at the ground level, zero. All right. So something has to be done, honestly. It is no longer something that everybody should keep quiet.
Well, at the end of the day, they will respond for themselves on these allegations. Shribe Gara Gombe, former chairman, Gombe State Football Association, as well as former chairman, Gombe United FC. Thank you so much. We wish the Super Eagles the very best. And maybe we'll have you again to say, well, we're wrong. We got the numbers, but let's be hopeful. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, let's relax. Let's take things down. A fantastic musician, drummer, will be joining us right here to tell us how his journey from where he came from to where he is right now and where he's going to. We're talking about him and his craft in just a moment. Join us again.
Of course, Fridays on the Morning Brief will be incomplete without some color, without some life, without some entertainment. So as we progress on this softer side of things, let's welcome gospel music artist Laolu Gbejo. Good morning and welcome to the Morning
Good morning.
Brief. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Live beyond the screens of YouTube
Thank
and
you.
Instagram.
Thank you.
And well done.
Thank you.
So, besides knowing you as a gospel music artist, you also perform a specific brand, Gospel Alujo. So please explain that to Nigerians. Some who may not know what Gospel Alujo is.
So I think I started with iLife, and then I evolved from lockdown. COVID made me to evolve to Alujo Special. During the lockdown, there was nothing, there was no party, there was nowhere to go. So I started the birthday shout out, and that is where the Alujo, where people will send their picture and we just sing in the studio for them. And we send it to them via a link where they can download, and they just celebrate on their WhatsApp status, Instagram, their YouTube, and just celebrate. So that's the birthday shout out is called Alujo Special. So that is where the Alujo specialist, Laolu Gbejo, and it also go with my name. My name is Olaoluwa Gbejo. Gbejo means make me dance. So Laolu Gbejo.
Interesting. Now, many would think that, Laolu Gbejo is one of our favorite gospel artists that we see on Instagram. When we want to relax and maybe praise, we go to YouTube and see Laolu Gbejo, but they do not know that you have quite a journey. In fact, your first album was in 2000, released in 2008.
That's right.
So help us come up close with that journey. Talk to us about it.
Okay, it was very, very interesting journey. Okay, so like I said, I grew up in Ogbomoso and moved to Lagos late 1999, early 2000, and started singing. Somehow I started singing because my father was a pastor, and I remember my first album. I think it was Next Level, right? So it was just very, very interesting. We just did it anyhow. And I remember for the first time, my first album, when I did my first album, I had this very hope that, okay, people will be calling me for events and all that. But there was nothing like that. So after the first album, I stopped singing. I stopped for like about 5 years. So then came back again 2014.
And since then?
Yes, since then it's been very, very interesting.
So it almost feels like, was money the motivator? Why did you stop?
No, it wasn't money, but you need money.
So what was that event that now gave you, okay, I think we're good to go now?
So the truth is, vision without provision is frustration. If you have vision, you have this idea, and there's no money, you feel frustrated. So that's the thing. So I think it was more like what I confirmed. I remember a friend of mine was having an album launch, and I went there to perform, and somebody walked up to me that God said I should tell you that if you would trust him again, come back, that he will support you. Something like that. And he confirmed what I was feeling in my spirit. So it was more like something was telling me to go back.
So since your return in 2014, besides even lockdown, what has been the turning point that has made you become convinced that, you're not just here for the money, but you are here, as a major player in the gospel music scene?
Okay, so I think the major turning point when I did my second album, Dabira, in 2014. That is the Dabira. The fulfillment, the joy, the feedback from people. That every morning I listen to your music. When I'm working on, I listen to your music. When I'm driving, I listen to your music. So the feedback, the fulfillment from people, that's the joy.
How much of your personal work is out there? Because I know you sing other people's songs as well, right? So let's compartmentalize it. Okay. How many albums? Do you have an album?
I have a lot of albums.
Like, how many albums?
I have about 5 albums.
Okay, you have about 5 albums.
Yeah.
So in terms of reception of this album, how would you rate it? So let's begin to look at your work by the metrics.
Okay, so all my albums are doing very well. I have the one you just played is Dripping Glory. Dabira went viral in 2019, and Oniduro Me.
So it's exclusively Yoruba songs you do, exclusively?
I do English. I do
As
English,
well.
but I do English as well. But I do a lot of Yoruba. I just, I think
that means your bias is on Yoruba.
I'm not actually.
No. Bias is not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Okay,
more like that's what you're most comfortable with.
I think that's the area of my strength.
Okay.
You understand? So.
And I see you do a lot of collaborations as well. You know, on this set that you perform on YouTube, I've seen you host quite a number of artists.
Yeah.
How far has collaborations gone? You know, to make not just you now, because other artists do collaborations as well. You know, to make a name visible, more acceptable, or you know, a go-to name to visit in terms of what to listen to for praise.
Okay, so I remember the collaboration of everything started for me during lockdown. During lockdown, I built my studio. I built a small studio in my estate. Then, and I remember a friend of mine, a lot of people, because studio was a very new thing that time. So a lot of musicians wanted to come to my studio. So it got to a point I said, okay, I don't have the power to host anybody. So, but there was this particular guy, Chigoze Wisdom. This guy
I've seen that.
Yeah, he kept disturbing me. LG, I promise I won't waste your time. I promise, just let me come. Then he came, and I was like, wow, this is a beautiful studio. Then he carried the microphone, he started singing. I said, wow, I love that. Guys, can you take us? And we started singing. So I was like, oh, there's this particular Igbo song that I like. Please sing this song for me, and I'll sing the Yoruba version. And boom. In fact, we didn't even mix it. We didn't even master the song. We did that at about 1 p.m. I released it 5 p.m. and it was all over.
That's raw stuff.
I tell you, all over.
So I will go back to the issue why I went to the issue of metrics, your album versus other songs you sing. Do you have issues with rights? Because I know, for instance, if you go to events where you have a lot of where you go to perform, you're not just going to sing your songs, you're going to sing other songs as well. Perhaps I suspect that I think I've seen a few of your studio sessions. Yeah, that's why you're not singing just your song; you're also singing other people's songs. How do you manage the issue of rights? Because copyright is a big issue.
Okay, so far so good because I'm a performer. I don't really have issue with rights.
What does that mean?
Okay, so because I do live band, there will be issue if I have to do like a recording. I put it on digital platform, stores, selling them. Right. So because, and we also do Owambe, we do live performance music. And let's say, for instance, if Ayefele will say nobody should sing his song again, what song are you going to be singing at party? If King Sonny they say don't sing my song again, Obe say don't sing my song again, what song are you going to be singing at parties?
But Jeffrey's song is instructive, and you know why that is. Sorry, Jeffrey's question. He's going to sing too very.
I've retired.
You know why that is? Because sometimes artists churn out very fantastic compositions that are lost in transit. And then when one artist resurrects the song, it becomes an issue of contention. I don't want to mention names now, but it has happened in recent times. And there are, in fact, some very cool Yoruba praise songs that are emerging now that, you don't know who owns the copyright for the songs. It's just sung on all altars, on all music platforms in churches. So are you being deliberate about some songs that are that belong to you exclusively?
Okay, so there are artists that I reach out to that, okay, I love this particular song, I would love to do it. And there are some that will reach a time that, okay, I can give you free studio session. There are people that I support their career in my own capacity. So, but so far so good. I don't really think I've had any major issue that anybody say want to sue me for a particular song. All right.
So let's talk about two parts of your art. Okay, one part that divided into two. So on your part, how long does it take you to score an average song? Because I know that songs come with complexities. Yeah. And what is the qualification for anybody to be your BVG?
You must have. You must be very good. You must be a professional singer. You must have ginger. You must have swagger. You must be looking good. And you must understand the character of every music. You understand? That qualifies you to be my BV.
Okay.
Also, back to the question of that, the right we're talking about. There are artists who send their songs to me. LJ, please, can you sing this song? I believe if you do this song, it will blow.
What about your own song? How do you protect your own rights?
Yeah.
How do you
Do you
protect
also
your
allow
own
people to
rights?
perform your songs as well?
I've never asked anybody not to do my song. You're allowed to do my songs.
Okay. We know that you're a Christian.
Yeah.
But you sing everything.
Why you say everything?
But you know what I'm talking about.
I have my limit actually.
Okay, what's the limit? Because at the end of the day, people say, okay, I don't want to call names. I almost came out with that name, but let's stay with you.
Okay.
So, because that can bring contention within the faith you represent. Say, okay, he has to sing. If you're truly a Christian, the person must sing only Christian songs, and not Ebenezer Obey is not a Christian. Then maybe look for
He's
another.
a Christian.
But he's a Christian.
He's a Christian.
Yeah.
These guys are Christians, and their music actually makes sense.
Okay.
They only have dirty words.
I guess what he's trying to say is
when
that
he started off now, he wasn't doing all Christian songs, was he? Was he doing all Christian songs?
And most of their songs, they are kind of like
moral, didactic.
Moral, you understand?
Victor Laya is there as well.
Songs,
Victor Laya is there
social songs.
But that doesn't mean that some of them did not sing songs that were like, do you understand?
I guess what he's trying to say is that when you perform at parties, sometimes, the lines, can be blurry in terms of interpreting what is gospel and what is secular. And then you are oscillating between singing praise the Lord. So do you have that conflict? And then you go to...
So the truth of the matter is that we have to be sincere to ourselves. If everybody sings gospel, the world will be boring. That's the truth. If anyone is getting married now, you don't expect me to sing gospel all through. You get it? There are songs, love songs, celebration praise. If I want to sing for somebody who's from Ekiti, Osun State, Ogbomosho, they're not bad songs. We're just celebrating. It's celebration.
Okay, so let me get straight to the chase. Okay. Are there songs you cannot sing?
Yes, sure, a lot.
Like
there are some songs I cannot sing. I don't want to mention particular songs, but I have my limits.
Okay, so you have your boundaries. That's what I wanted to check.
Boundary because I also have this issue with my church folks and Christian. So because I sing at parties and Laolu is a gospel artist. He perform at parties and all that. So meanwhile, because I post a lot of Christian music, the gospel side of me on my page, the event planner sometimes recommend me for events, and the celebrant sometimes, I go to his page, he sings only gospel. Meanwhile, the church people I say, he sing at party.
So are you like an audience orphan now? This is confused about you. This
I just be myself.
Okay, so you said earlier that they recommend you for parties and all of that.
Yeah.
So for those of us that want to ramp up our music career, help us understand, where does the money particularly come from? YouTube views, performances at parties, or from your streamings?
Okay, so I think you have to understand your assignments. I'm a performer. I'm a live band person, right? Yes, I have music on YouTube, I have music on digital stores, but I tell you, I get a lot of money from performance. There are artists that there are recording artists. You understand? So all they do, they don't really have that strength for live performance shows. So when you understand your area of assignment and where your area of strength, then you know where you get your money from. If I will have to depend on YouTube for me to do what I do, that would take me forever.
So the guys, okay, go ahead, please.
I have studio I have a very big studio in Lekki. I started from a small studio, but I have a studio. I have an international studio, international standard studio, where people come from America, London, Canada for recording, for production. If I would depend on YouTube money, iTunes money, it would take me forever to do that.
So for the
That's
people
some
that
good
want
counsel.
to be like you and go through this part, because right now you have to tell them all the challenges you're facing. That's why we're interviewing you. So if there's something I've learned from you is that church people are saying you're not church enough. Secular people are saying this church is too much.
Just be yourself.
So,
I'm a proud entertainer.
So,
if you call me entertainer, glory be to God. If you call me minister, glory be to God.
I think that's what my guy Sensational does as well.
Yes.
So what are you going to be telling the young people now to navigate this part of whether you call yourself entertainer, performer, whatever name you want to describe yourself?
Find your purpose. Find your purpose. Know your area of assignment. Be good at what you do. Don't let anybody beat you in your area of assignment. And let people know you for a brand. If you mention Laolu Gbejo now, you say Alujo. You won't find me. I can do hip hop, but the brand, I don't try to confuse my audience. Alujo.
All right. So let's enjoy some of that Alujo right now as we prepare to dance to Laolu Gbejo's music. So what are you going to be performing for us?
Dripping Glory.
Okay.
You perform Dripping Glory or whatever is available. We'll perform Dripping Glory or whatever is available to you.
Let me do Dripping Glory. Dripping Glory. The first one you perform, the first one you show.
Okay. As we prepare for that, we'll take a short break to enjoy some.
So we're going to do it together.
Okay, but let's take a break first, and then we'll be.
Hey yo, with Papa God for my side. I'm too sweet. I'm too sweet.
I'm too sweet.
I'm too fine.
I'm too fine. Don't worry, we won't charge him. When next we have a party, he'll just come and perform free.
Yes.
Okay, so
let's go.
Do your thing.
So let's watch you.
Ashish. Hude. Let's go. Hude. Let's go.
Hey, guys, sing it.
I'm too sweet. I'm too fine. I'm too sharp. I should shine. Hude.
So you can join us.
I'm too sweet. I'm too fine. I'm too sharp. I should shine. Let's go. I'm too sweet. I'm too shine. I'm too shine. I should shine. And your shoe is shiny. Let's go down. Got you. Let's go now. Now we're good. Let me see your hand up. Shout and see. Let's go now.
Thank you so much.
That is the gospel Alujo flavor from Laolu Gbejo. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
That's another exercise for the weekend.
Yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to sign off. We're going to sign off and then we'll continue our singing. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's a great weekend. We hope the Super Eagles will win so that this dancing will continue. My name is Jeffrey Uzama. Thank you for watching.
We'll be back again on Monday. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.
Where's our sound? Producer, we're done. Sunrise Daily is up next.
Keep dancing, keep shouting.
Where's our song?
Keep singing.
Okay,
Okay, let's go and say, I too fine.
I too fine.
I
I too sweet.
I too sweet.
My face show.
My face show.
My teeth white.
My teeth white.
My shoe shine.
My shoes shine.